Hi, everyone. So my name's Taylor, and I will be discussing the organization that I volunteered at this entire semester called Casa Marianella. So what is Casa Marianella? It is a nonprofit organization that has been running for 35 years in East Austin. Their purpose is to help displaced immigrants to be self-sufficient by providing them immediate shelter, resources, and services. Immigrants that are fleeing danger in their place of origin come to our borders seeking asylum and are being incarcerated in detention centers, which are the equivalent to prisons. We help them be able to get out of these inhumane detention centers. So here's a picture at Casa Marianella of staff and residents having an event with music and dancing. It is a goal of Casa Marianella to integrate immigrants into their new community, into the Austin community, and make sure that they feel safe and welcomed. So whenever I was gathering information, I actually interviewed the director of Casa Marianella. Her name is Jennifer Long. She has been the director for 23 years. She explained to me how the average American has many misconceptions about the polarizing topic of immigration. So Jennifer sees the adult shelter, fundraising, administrative work. She's a volunteer coordinator and works with the board of directors as well. According to Jennifer, quote unquote, whenever they get to our border, there is no system to help them besides prison. There is no government services and we do not let them work. So how do they survive? So what does Casa Marianella do? The organization provides in-kind and public assistance support services for residents. Each resident also gets a case manager. They have about 3 months to be able to make it on their feet. So Casa Marianella has a benefits clinic, legal clinic, oriental medicine clinic, housing services, and English classes. The benefit clinic helps immigrants be able to get the services, benefits, and programs they need relating to healthcare and health insurance. The legal services provides free immigration legal assistance. The Oriental Medicine Clinic provides more of a holistic approach to healthcare. They have acupuncture and they have herbal medicine and much more. Housing services are for residents to find immediate shelter when they first get here, and then long-term housing for the future when they have an income. English classes are also available to help immigrants adapt to their new environment in Texas if they do not know the language here. So support letters, this is how they actually get out of the detention centers into Casa Marianella. So when immigrants are either on the journey here or when they get to the detention centers, they hear by word of mouth of Casa Marianella as a way to get out of these detention centers. So either they reach out to Casa Marianella or their worried family members sometimes reach out. And so then Casa makes a promise with the detention centers to take full responsibility over them. They promise to provide shelter, food, and make sure they get to their immigration hearings. We pay for their transportation to come to Casa Marianella after they're released from the detention centers. So the social problem that Casa Marianella faces is they advocate for displaced immigrants. The organization fights fiercely the unjust immigration system that is a human rights violation problem. The media spreads many misconceptions about immigration that criminalizes immigrants and discredits the need for immigration reform. When immigrants come to our border, they deserve safe housing and needed resources so that they can survive, but there is no system whenever they get to their border that guarantees them to be safe. So the population served at Casa Marianella are immigrants. They're just humans helping humans, not humans helping aliens, as some people would like to consider them, which is a very discriminatory term that marginalizes and isolates them. So the population served are just simply humans, but they have added hardships and unfair obstacles that they must also overcome to their pathway to citizenship. Their journey here is rooted in resiliency, which is a textbook term, which is the ability of an individual, family, group, community, or organization to recover from adversity and resume functioning, even when suffering serious trouble. So eligibility requirements, they do have means testing, which is the evaluation of all resources clients have at their disposal to determine if they have the means to pay for services or buy things for themselves. So Casa Marianella has a months-long wait list, but immigrants that have priority to get the service faster are individuals that are considered high risk, which are individuals that are in the most danger or have the most minimal resources needed for survival. So for example, women with children, Abused individuals, members of the LGBTQIA plus community. They get help, for instance, they are considered high risk and being discriminated against, especially in the detention centers or when they were along the journey. So funding, according to Jennifer Long, CASA has a $1.6 million budget yearly with a lengthy list of supporters and partners to be able to make this organization possible. The biggest funders are City of Austin funds $400,000 yearly, and Travis County funds $180,000 yearly. There are more funders listed here. There are religious organizations, and there are also passionate individuals who donate generously. So is Casa Marianella private or public? So it's public in the sense that the resources are not only just for residents for the Austin community. Any immigrant can get resources from Casa Marianella. It is private in the sense that we do not get any federal government assistance or funding. So that also has to do with the gaps in the social welfare system with immigration. So the organizational structure of the organization, there is no hierarchy system. It is very decentralized. There are co-workers, not supervisors. Everyone works collaboratively, fairly, and equally. On the board of directors, there is even a former resident. Jennifer Long oversees anything. So here is a chart of the organizational structure of the organization. On the left here, you see the adult shelter, which is where I volunteered at. And on the right here, we have Posada Esperanza, which is the family shelter, which is where the women and children go. The Posada Esperanza family shelter is a discrete location because a lot of the residents there have been abused. So agencies networking together, American Gateways is their legal partner, Community Care is their medical clinic partner. Both are very, very important that immigrants can be able to get the resources that they need to be able to survive and deal with their immigration case. So gaps in the social welfare system with immigration, there's huge gaps because there is no federal government assistance. Casa Marianella is only one of 5 homeless shelters for immigrants in the United States. When immigrants need help, there's extremely limited room for them to receive shelter and limited funding for resources. In Jennifer's words, it is catastrophic. We have a system that provides asylum to people, but it's prison. No social services system that helps people coming to our borders. 2 families were calling Casa from the DRC today and no one has room. They will have to sleep on the floor around the office. This should be government's responsibility. So assessment of services for the client system. It is extremely effective for immigrants to reach full self-sufficiency during their pathway to citizenship at Casa Marianella. Overall, this year's success rate of residents who have had successful exits are 88% in the entire agency. Here is a breakdown of the statistics of the success rates of residents leaving Casa Marianella. You could pause this video and look at these statistics. So the perspective that Casa Marianella has as an organization is a developmental perspective with the social welfare system, which it presumes that people living in our complex world may require help and resources in order to function effectively and support themselves. So Texas is very conservative. The philosophy that individuals are responsible for themselves, government should provide minimal interference in people's lives, and change does not necessarily mean improvement. So it's very interesting that such a developmental organization is in such a conservative state. It's a good thing. Austin is very good when it comes to immigrants and helpful. So cultural competence. It is extremely important that social workers be culturally competent, especially in an environment like Casa Marianella. There are so many different cultures from all around the world. So cultural competence is a mastery of a particular set of knowledge, skills, policies, and programs used by social workers that address the cultural needs of individuals, families, groups, and communities. So there are many language barriers and cultural barriers when it comes to working at Casa Marianella. All residents need to feel very comfortable and respected since there are so many cultures living together. So it helps for the social worker to be able to get people's needs met and making them feel comfortable and safe. And that is all. Thank you all so much for listening to my presentation. And I hope y'all have a great rest of the day.